Oh my word, I'm so excited to finally be recording this video. This is all about my birth experience, postpartum, and just some things that have really made a huge difference for Kramer and I in this whole experience. Now, I'm not someone to get into the birth story and love hearing all those details. That's just not really me. I'm just gonna touch on this really quickly because I had posted a video when I was 35 weeks pregnant all about my pregnancy experience, and you can actually listen to that video. I'll link it here. In that video, I talked so much about the power of self-talk and just how I had learned to take care of my mind, which helped me take care of my body during pregnancy. And I had an amazing pregnancy experience. And the whole reason I'm sharing these things is because I feel like we often just hear the negative things about being a mom, being pregnant. Like, it's so hard, I was sick. And while that's true for some people and that can be people's experiences, I really like to push against the normal things in life. Meaning, if everyone says oh, you have all these cravings when you're pregnant, or you're just so exhausted, you can't do anything, it's just so hard, I just like to challenge it and say why does that have to be true? And sometimes there is truth to it, but sometimes we live in these stereotypical beliefs because of what we've heard and what we've seen people model. And the danger to that is that it can steal the joy, the freedom, the opportunity, the growth, everything you can have from the experience itself. And so I challenge that. So during my whole pregnancy, I listened to self-talk that I created. And what self-talk is just taking a thought and really speaking into existence what I want to have happen. So I would talk about how I was healthy, I had energy during my pregnancy, my baby was healthy, we worked as a team during the delivery, and none of those things had happened yet, but I was speaking as if it had. And it was so powerful to see how everything I spoke literally happened. So I had my baby at 38 weeks. His name is Fletch Armani Ammons. He's so sweet. Love him so much. He is currently, as I'm recording this, about 2.5 months old. I had just spoke that I had him before his due date. I talked to him, my baby, and to myself as if it had already happened, just telling him we work as a team. The birth went really smooth. I knew exactly what to do. Fletch came out perfectly. And it did, but basically it was an awesome experience. Here's what I want to get into though, that I think can really help you with whether you're wanting to have a baby, you are pregnant, you have kids, or there's just things in life you want to overcome in the sense of what people call is normal. So when Kramer and I found out we were pregnant, actually before we were pregnant, we would have conversations about what life would be like when we have a baby. And of course we didn't know everything, but we really like to problem solve. And so we would take, what do parents and people complain about all the time? What do women struggle with? New moms, new dads, what are these common themes we hear again and again? And then we take it and we problem solve it so that we don't just fall into the cycle that everyone else does. Because we believe there's a way to live abundantly, to enjoy life. And yes, there's going to be hard things, but we don't want to just have a kid and then feel oh my gosh, we hate our life. We can't live life anymore. We can't go on trips. We can't go on adventures, and it just sucks. Here are some things we did that we problem solved through. And I just want to share what we've done. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it, but I think this can help you to challenge the cultural norms and to maybe problem solve what's best for you, what's best for your family. So hands down, one of the biggest things is sleep. Sleep is so important. You guys have heard me talk about the importance of it. I talked about it in my energy video. Sleep is just as important as eating, as exercise, all of it. Well, when you have an infant, you have to take care of them, right? And here's the thing, I think so many emotional and mental problems come from lack of sleep, because if you're not rested, your body struggles to fight your negative thoughts, fight what you're feeling emotionally at the capacity you need to if you're exhausted. So we knew that sleep was one of the top priorities for us, and we problem solved that. So we put Fletch in his room when he was 2 weeks old. So for the first 2 weeks he was in our room, we were just learning how to feed a baby, how to change a diaper, getting used to him and his sounds. But as soon as we felt comfortable, we didn't put a time limit on it. We said as soon as we feel comfortable with him, being in his own room at night, we're moving him there. And that was at 2 weeks for us. And we have a camera set up in his room. His room is on the same level as our bedroom, so we're very close to him. But we knew that was crucial because we wanted him to develop an independence away from us, being able to sleep alone. But then also for the sake of our marriage, for the sake of our rest, having our own space, feeling like we had separation from Fletch in a healthy way. And that has been such an incredible decision for us. And he does great. He sleeps like a pro in his crib. And even right now, so his nighttime is 12-hour stretches, and he can sleep 8 to 9 hours straight right now at 2.5 months old, which brings me to my next point that hands down changed the game for us, was little Z sleep. And I'm going to link all of these resources and things I mentioned down below in this video. I literally cannot recommend Becca Campbell enough. So Little Z Sleep is an entire sleep training program she has, but she goes all the way from newborns to I think up to 5-year-olds, depending like what age your kids are and maybe you want to start sleep training now. She has all these systems and methods, and Fletch sleeping 8 to 9 hours in the night is not my magical work. It is me following her incredible program very strictly. Here's what I love about it. It makes so much logical sense. She explains the science behind kids, behind humans, behind sleep cycles, what happens when they're 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 months old, and what's happening in their body, and how you adjust to support them, to help them to sleep, to help them to eat in the way that they need to. And I just realized so much, like if Fletch is really, really fussy, it's because he's communicating something to us. It's not random. It's not that babies, I don't believe, are just fussy. Like he's had some weeks where he's like super fussy, and it's because he had an upset tummy. Probably because I ate something too spicy. There's all these different things that babies are communicating to us, and I think it's so cool how God made us. And so instead of just being like, oh, my baby doesn't sleep or my baby's crying, problem solve. Like, yeah, that's true, your baby's crying, but there's probably a reason. And so Little Z Sleep has been an incredible program. I bought the newborn course, and I'm actually just about to sign up for her membership to start continuing to learn, just to make sure we're following the system correctly, as Fletch is about to go through a big change when he hits 4 or 6 months old. But that has been such a blessing because he gets really long stretches of sleep. In the beginning, it was like started with 2 hours, then 3, then 4, then 5. But that's massive, and it's really helped us having a program, and she knows what she's talking about. So just go buy it. Like, it's so worth it. The next thing we did is we chose to make sure that Kramer could also feed Fletch so that I could get sleep, Kramer could get sleep. And we also wanted Fletch to be super comfortable with both of us and not having attachment issues with mom or with dad. And we also tried to see other people so that he's comfortable with humans and interaction. And so that's a decision we made for our family, and it has worked extremely well for us. And it's like mom and dad are healthy because we're getting rest, we're able to take care of ourselves, and that's been massive. So going into taking care of ourselves after birth, that was one of our main focuses, was me recovering physically. So if I took 3 baths a day, that was the goal. If I slept extra, that was the goal. I really tried to hold my work, hold my plans, everything super loosely, just to listen to my body, my soul, and what I needed. And same with Kramer, we did that for him. So there's things that are really life-giving to us. So like going to the gym, we have made sure that we both get to go and we create that space for each other. Making time to spend time in God's word. It doesn't look like it used to for me. In the exact perfect way, I'd have my devotional time like at 6 a.m. every time. But I'm making sure that I'm filling up my soul and I'm spending time in the word or listening to the Bible, spending time just praying, worshiping, whatever I need, whatever my soul is calling out for. Taking baths, doing my hair, doing my makeup, getting dressed, those things make me feel like myself. And that was massive for me in the beginning, especially because we're trying to figure out a new norm. And it's like, what the heck is happening? Like, this child kind of feels like my child, but kind of doesn't. And so I was trying to do as many things as I could to kind of be in routine, feel like my normal self, to adjust. And that helped me so much. So people talk about like having postpartum anxiety or depression, and I'm not discrediting that whatsoever, but I really do think that our mind, body, and soul are very connected. And so if something is lacking, like food or exercise or sleep, or your emotions are off, or you haven't learned how to navigate that, it's going to lead to those problems. And so we just really worked hard to figure out what do we need and how can we ground ourselves. Now, have I had an emotional breakdown? yeah, but I'm not going to blame it on Fletch. I literally think it was just me like struggling to navigate my emotions during that time. But I've had breakdowns. Has it been hard? Totally. Have there been times I didn't want to get out of bed and go to Fletch's room and take care of him in the night? Yes. I'm not saying it's been rainbows and butterflies, but we like taking the approach of problem solving and really figuring out what are these common issues and what can we do to prevent these or to set ourselves up for the best success. That's what we've done, and it has been so amazing, and it has helped us transition, and honestly, it's been an amazing experience. Now, here's the next thing we did and that we problem solved, and it was so important to us, is we have a nanny. So I don't do it all. Kramer doesn't do it all, and we don't try to do it all. We really have been learning about the power of delegation in our life. So Kramer and I both individually run businesses. We help each other a lot in each other's businesses. So we do that full time. We now have a baby. We care to live an active lifestyle. We care to build community. Like there's so many ambitions and things we like to do, and it's really hard to do it all. Like I'm learning how much that it's using wisdom to not do it all. So we have a full-time nanny. She's amazing. The Lord truly brought the right person at the right time. We hired her when Fletch was almost 2 months old, or like just hit that 2-month mark. So that has been a huge blessing, just to give us clear work hours. She really helps me like with laundry or just keeping the house going if I need that support. But what we love is how much fresh energy and positive impact she has on Fletch's life, which is so massive to us. And I've recognized that, like, because Kramer and I have space in our work, in our personal life, like to take care of our health, like by working out, taking care of literally like getting ready each day. Like I am so much healthier for Fletch because I'm taking care of myself. I'm so much healthier in our marriage because I'm taking care of myself. But because I have help from our nanny, I'm able to do those things. And I'm able to run my business. So I would encourage you, like, even if you're not in a place to hire a full-time nanny, like how could you have a babysitter like once a week, or have a family member help you out? How could you swap like with a friend where they come and watch like your kid and you watch their kid one day? How could you maybe take on some extra hours so that you can afford to have a babysitter an extra day? Kramer and I don't have family in Colorado, and we don't have much community physically here yet. And so we knew that childcare was like massive for us. That one, we wanted Fletch to be around someone apart from just us, but also like having date night, being able to breathe, to go to the gym, like that was really important to us because we don't have that natural support. So you don't have to have like a nanny, like you have to assess like what's best for your family, but problem solve. Do not accept all of these things that the world says about like how it has to be, but problem solve what isn't working for your family. Where are you feeling a lack? Where are you struggling? Problem solve and figure out how to work through that, because you don't just have to sit in hard things. And I think like I had to work through a lot of limiting beliefs where like here was one phrase: I want to be the one to raise my child. I hear people say that all the time. And I'm like, yeah, I want to be the one to raise my child. So is hiring someone to watch my kid not raising my child? No, I actually think that's a false belief. What we care about is someone who has a positive impact, someone who loves the Lord, someone who has high energy, someone who's not just going to like change his diaper and feed him, but speak life over him, like truly speak life into him, speak so positively. Someone who carries an energy that Fletch can feed off of. Babies feed off of energy, which is also crazy. So if you're stressed, if your energy is down, I guarantee you, you're having a fussy baby. Fletch has done that. Like the day I was crying that I mentioned I had a breakdown, Fletch was completely calm. And when I started having a breakdown, he started like freaking out. I was like, this is nuts. Kramer had to like come in and help us. It was so cool to learn that like babies really feed off of that. So I looked at these criterias and really had to work through this belief of also believing like, am I really the only person God is going to use in my child's life? Like God can use so many other people in Fletch's life to raise him, to help him grow. I want him to have an example of incredible leaders. And if I had a 14-year-old daughter who was babysitting my son, I wouldn't think twice about it. Like I wouldn't be saying like, oh, my daughter's influencing him too much, I need to be raising him. And so I just think that belief isn't valid. And there's specific things I have to look at. What do I care that Fletch is being influenced by? And I just have to make sure that person meets the right criteria. And I ask the Lord to bring me that person, and he does. So work through those own limiting beliefs that you have. There's like, you know, a lot of women will feel guilty if they're working and not with their kid, or then they'll feel guilty if they're with their kid and not working. I really haven't experienced that yet. I felt guilty if I'm like trying to work while watching Fletch. I really like being just present with him. But I feel so excited to see him and to hang out with him when I'm done with work and I'm fully present, because I've done my work. I'm setting this example of what an ambitious mom looks like. He's literally gonna watch a mom who takes care of herself, who influences so many other people and helps them grow in awareness and self-control in their life. And that's my goal, is that he sees his mom teaching things and living out what she's teaching, that he sees me doing other things that I'm ambitious and passionate about, but also loving him and passionate about him. But I don't want to make my child my whole life. And so that was really, really important for me to make sure that I was still doing things that Callie loves, that Callie enjoys, because I knew that I'd be a better mom for it. And I'm not saying every woman needs that. Again, everyone is so different. Every season is so different. And so it's really important that you listen to the Lord and listen to what's right in your life right now. It may not be the right thing for you to have a nanny, and it could be the right thing for you too. And you have to be in tune and confident with that, of what's best for you and with your family. So I don't want to make this video too long, but basically, if you have kids, if you want to have kids, if you felt nervous about having kids, like I was nervous because of looking at everyone in the world and they just look like a hot mess and like they hate their life, you kind of start to be like, why would I want to have kids? Like, what's the point if I can't enjoy my life? I can't be present with them and it's just like miserable. Babies are such a blessing. And I think what I just keep learning is that when we add responsibilities to our life, it just magnifies who you are. So if you're a stressed out person and you have a baby, you're just gonna be more stressed out. If you're a very intentional person, it's gonna cause you to be even more intentional and think at a higher level. And that's a great thing. It's a way to help you grow. My legs are falling asleep. I'm sitting Indian style. Oh my goodness. It's going down. But I just want to challenge you to think differently. And when you start problem solving, and like how I was like, okay, we need to hire a nanny. Like, that's the right thing for our life. And Kramer and I had decided that before we ever had a kid. Like we didn't just like have a baby and we're like, oh my gosh, this is chaotic. We problem solved. We knew what we wanted. We knew what we wanted our lifestyle to look like and the support we would have from others. And so we went after that. But I had limiting beliefs of like hearing those phrases of like, well, you should be the one to raise your kid. And I'm like, okay, is that true? And just praying over it, like searching for scripture, figuring out what is actually true, and working through those limiting beliefs is going to help you. And when I say limiting beliefs, it's anything that's keeping you from taking action. So why are you not taking care of yourself? Why do you keep having your baby sleep with you? Is that the right decision? It could be, it may not be. Like, what is it that's keeping you from creating a life where you can delegate, where you have more peace, where you have time for yourself? Do you think that's selfish? Do you really think you're not better for your child when you're rested, when you've had a shower, when you get to put your face on, when you get to listen to a podcast? Like, think through that and be intentional with what you're doing. And yeah, I never want to be like, oh my gosh, everything's just so easy and there's no problems. Like, there are problems, but they're not big problems. Like, it's awesome. It's just making me better. It's taking our marriage to a new level. It's taking our communication to a new level. And I love it. It's so cool. It's so cool how the Lord uses responsibilities as ways to grow us when that's what we look for and we're open to it. So don't let the social norms in life hold you back from what you want to do or the blessings you can experience, but choose to challenge it. It's okay to challenge what's normal, because most of the time, what's normal isn't the way of the Lord.